come for me in the comments. I don't give a goddamn because I can fucking delete them. So go piss in the wind somewhere else. Seriously.
Well, that sounded like an invitation to respond. Most of you know that I advocate for balance and solutions, but do not make the mistake of thinking that I'm not about that smoke. So just in case I needed to remind you, you're about to witness a deconstruction. Although someone who threatens to delete all the public comments that disagree with their public opinion has already exposed themselves. But let's see what she has to say about my video.
I understand what he was doing by trying to give advice to guys about women who expect men to have money. I get it. I do. But the thing that I have a problem with is that towards the end of his video, he's like, oh, if a woman doesn't lead with a price tag, or even if she's someone who offers to go Dutch, lock her ass down. First of all, you're saying that a woman should lead with a price tag? How about a man saying, I can't afford to take you here, but I can afford to take you there? Why are you shoving this shit on women again?
And if you find a woman who does not lead with a price tag, who has a good heart, and who maybe even offers to pay, don't let her. Lock her down and spoil the shit out of her.
Women are just being honest. They're saying, I want a man with money. And if that bothers you, don't talk to her. If you can't afford her, fuck off. You're basically asking a woman who wants a man with money to just lower her standards. You should like me anyway. Lower your standards. Fuck you, no. Fuck you, no. If you can't afford to take a woman out, just fucking say so.
Listen, wanting to date men who are financially abundant, I'm all for that, and that is one thing. But this energy,
the men who look at the bill too long are broke,
is another thing entirely. In fact, I advocate for women to date stable, successful men. Living paycheck to paycheck and being incapable of affording opportunities and stability for a home is not ideal. So I'm not sure where this idea of not being able to afford dating is even being projected from, because I'm pretty sure that I also said this.
Taking her out to Nobu. Lock her down and spoil the shit out of her.
She doesn't owe you shit. She doesn't owe you shit.
You're right. She doesn't. But I guess you don't think that that goes both ways, do you?
But I want that one. You can't afford it. You can't have it. It's like someone buying a BMW and then bitching about the maintenance costs.
So dating women is like buying cars now. I could just leave it at that, but it's a smoke post, so I'll just say it. If you put a BMW price tag on a Ford Flex, and even if you dress up the outside to look like a BMW, what will happen once somebody gets into the vehicle and takes it for a test drive? You might wonder why it never gets bought and taken off the lot.
If you can't afford to take a woman out, just fucking say so. But that won't get me a date. I don't fucking care. You want me to waste my time and then we get to the end of the date and you ask me to go Dutch or some shit?
At no point in my video did I say anything about going Dutch. In fact, I advocate and I suggest for men to provide. Because if you have a provider's mindset, you're going to provide. What I did suggest as a pro tip is for women to offer to pay. I also told the guys not to take you up on it. But think of it like a test. It's going to do one of two things. It's either going to eliminate the men who are not willing to provide because they take you up on the offer. Or two, it's going to score you massive brownie points for the men who are providers, because they're going to know that you're not just there to take advantage of them. To throw a little side smoke at the women who might be offended by such a suggestion. Maybe that's because you're too broke to even make that offer.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Something I find strange, and I can't seem to wrap my mind around it, is how so many women get so triggered at the mere suggestion of a more casual, low-key vibe check before both parties invest in a proper date. Ladies, isn't vibe checking a man, whether over FaceTime or coffee or ice cream at the pier or mini golf, in a woman's best interest too? Do you really want to waste hours of your time and your money to get all dolled up only to be stood up or stuck at some dinner with some insufferable dickhead who can't even hold a conversation and who might not even pay for you at the end of the night. But yeah, if I'm wrong about that, please feel free to help me understand why that is.
Women make less than men. We also have to buy a fuckload of products, more products than you do, to take care of ourselves, to maintain our image that you guys are putting on us.
So women investing in their image is for men and by men? Who knew? It's hard to get a clear consensus on that one. I can agree that women do spend more on their image than men do. As a matter of fact, I think they drive 80% of the consumer market statistically. Challenge the thought, if women can leverage their hair, their makeup, their perfume, etc. as expenses that some stranger should compensate for, would that also then be a green light for men to do the same? Should I be able to leverage the vehicles I'm driving, my shoes, my watches, my cologne, as things to be leveraged against a stranger? Should people start figuring out who has purchased the most expensive stuff, and whoever wins that contest now is owed something by the other person? Honestly, anyone who is leading with this as their thought process is exposing a mentality of entitlement, in my opinion. If I spend my money to look a certain way, you should owe me for that. If I spend my money to drive a certain car, you should owe me for that. I deserve special treatment from other people for the things that I do for myself. Understand, boundaries and self-worth is about what I'm going to allow into my life. Entitlement and ego is about what I'm expecting other people to give me.
A lot of men are still in this transactional shit.
Speaking of being transactional, let's not forget the videos that I was responding to in the first place.
Why I shouldn't throw this drink in your bitch ass face.
First of all, ew.
Like, oh, if I do this for woman gives me sex. It's the whole like press button, receive bacon thing.
This is true. There are a lot of men who believe that they are entitled to physical compensation, and a lot of men who want the highest level of compensation for the lowest investment possible. We want to filter out these types of men. I have heard a lot of women say that men who want to do a more casual vibe check before going out on the town are broke and only want to do that because they want to get into your pants for free. I have two solutions for this issue. Number one, you can use FaceTime to vibe check conversation with somebody. And number two, do not sleep with anybody who hasn't taken you out yet. I think it's also important to note and understand that money spent does not necessarily equate to effort invested. Money is nothing for a man with deep pockets. And a lot of those men do understand that if you throw a few bills at a woman, a lot of them will be seeing stars. He drops a stack because it's no effort, it's just a drop in the bucket. He gets laid, there is no commitment, there is no real interest, there is no real investment, because flashing cash only blinds broke eyes. Look, you can do anything you want. You can live any way you want. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Do what you want with your body. But when it comes to looking for a long-term relationship, I am a firm believer in slowing things down and waiting for the people who are actually interested in investing in you as a person.
Most of y'all don't even wash your own asses. I know I'm going to hear a bunch of shit like, oh, she should like him for his personality, yada, yada, yada. The thing is, though, not a lot of you have any personalities.
I don't always take the time, but sometimes I take the time. When it comes to the smoke, ask and you may receive. In closing to this whole anti-men, men ain't shit, blame men, women don't owe you, you have unwashed asses, you're broke, etc. I'm just going to remind women like this that $50,000 a year is the average income for a man in America. That is your average man. So if you are an average woman with a below average negative mindset, you might want an above average man, but you can't have that. The reality is, and it might be hard to digest this, is that you couldn't even pay a healthy, healed, masculine, successful man to sit through an hour listening to somebody with this mindset.